Yeah, my name is Hapiloe Maranyane. I'm a principal investigator for the mRNA mpox program. I work for Afrigen Biologics and Vaccines, a very exciting biotech in the space that we're in currently. It's it's a crucible of multidisciplinary, passionate human beings who really want to make medicines accessible for the wider LMIC population, and particularly our context. I think South Africa has its own needs. Africa has its own needs, and the innovators in the continent need to come to the party. So I'm excited to be a part of that through Afrigen. Yeah, so I think it's a bit of a tragic story that we are so dependent on importation for most of our critical medicines, whether it's vaccines, treatments, um, you name it, like diagnostics. Yeah, and yet we have such a rich culture of innovation, at least at the university level, and many of our inventions are not necessarily making it to to the market, which is sad and tragic. So yeah, biotech is not just about science, really. It's about health security and independence. It's about localizing innovation so that it's tailor made for its people. So I think it's a critical um, what is it ecosystem that needs to be supported from all the echelons of power within our country and continent. Well, I'm actually going to be bold and say biotech is already solving a lot of ordinary problems for ordinary people. In the sense that when you put your clothes in your washing machine, or like you're using that washing powder to get your clothes clean, those enzymes had to be made by some process, and biotech is your shining star right there. Um, but I think bringing it closer to kind of the health aspect of things, vaccines. I am in the field of vaccines. I'm passionate about making vaccines available. We were the back of the line when the COVID pandemic hit. And man, if we can get ahead of it and use our innovation, our biotechnology to make it accessible right from the lab into people's lives, and ordinary people for that matter, man, that would be great. So Afrigen is very busy in that particular area. And hopefully an RSV vaccine will be affordable and available for babies. And we need that right now. So yeah, I guess I've been in a meeting recently where I saw the actual impact on human lives of not having solutions for mpox. And yeah, a vaccine would go a long way to reduce the burden of disease, not only on the lives of the people, but also on economies in the middle of our beautiful continent. Yeah. Oh, Doug, that's an interesting question. A bit of an emotional one for me as well. Because yeah, I guess maybe because of the chronic underrepresentation for a long time, there's still these misconceptions about your competence. You walk into the room and, uh, someone is more likely to ask you for coffee um, as a server than to actually engage your mind in terms of what solutions you really do bring. So yeah, those microaggressions that one has to kind of overcome and have. Yes, it can be a little bit challenging in that regard. Having to make your voice louder just to prove credibility. And I think it's assumed for our male counterparts. And I think it's even harder when you're a woman of color in a biotech space, which has kind of been a bro club for the longest time. But I must say that there are some really, really great women pioneering in this space. We've had yeah, almost an upsurgence of really brilliant minds in women's bodies that have actually taken up the space. I have a privilege of being in a company that's women led, which I am very proud of. And I think that represents our tenacity and our boldness in going for really tough problems and being able to make an impact on the space. Yeah, absolutely. I think that women have some superpowers. I'm not saying that our uh, male friends do not. So do not hear what I'm not saying. But I think some of the creativity that women bring into boardrooms is unprecedented. Different perspectives matter, and I think, yeah, one of the cool things that we have is um, being able to almost galvanize cross-disciplinary teams in a way that, yeah, softens the spaces that we work in, so that they actually encourage innovation in a way that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that the cutthroat, very hard space has always done that. So, especially when it comes to working across disciplines, it's, yeah, women are just rock stars at that, I think. Um, um, oh man, firstly, I'm sorry, it just makes me slightly emotional, so I'm just gonna put it down. Otherwise, my eyes are gonna steam up. Um, I never thought that I would actually be walking in the dream of the 13-year-old who did not know the difference between biology and chemistry. Um, in biochemistry. And I remember being in these classes growing up and being so fascinated by living things. And then I went to a chemistry class and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. Like, all of the principles. And just, I loved it. I fell in love with science as a young girl. But I was also in a remote village in Maseru, and it felt almost impossible to see yourself in a place where you're actually doing the thing that you've dreamed about. So um, I look at where I am now, and I'm just baffled at the opportunity to be innovating in this space, and to be doing work that actually has impact on real lives. I think as a student for the longest time, I I was thinking, okay, maybe we just do basic science forever. And now being in the applied space and seeing how that actually translates in real life, man, I love this. I'm sorry. I really do love what we do, and I think it is critical and helpful for the globe